All right, so ready to dive deep.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Today we're taking a look at Dirty South.
Oh, nice. A legend.
Yeah, and we love to get into those like kind of beginnings, how they get there, you know?
Yeah, the origin stories.
Yeah, and what we have, it's a little excerpt from his biography.
Okay.
And it is, this is the guy who started with tape decks.
Really?
Yeah, and now is like Grammy nominated, like the whole thing, you know?
Wow, okay.
So it should be an interesting dive to see how he got from A to B.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to hear about this. Tape decks. That's wild.
Yeah. So Dirty South, real name, Dragan Roganovic.
Okay.
He was born in Belgrade, Serbia.
Gotcha.
And when he was 13, his family relocated to Melbourne, Australia.
Interesting. So that's like a huge cultural shift right there. I mean, musically as well.
Yeah, and I think you can kind of hear it.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. I
like-
mean, picking up those different influences at such a young age, that's bound to shape your sound.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when he was starting out, like, and this is, classic tale, right? You
Yeah.
don't have a lot of money. You're trying to, be creative.
Right.
He couldn't afford turntables. So to learn how to mix, he was using his old NEC hi-fi tape decks.
Wow. Okay, that's resourceful.
Yeah, talk about, I don't even know what kind of creativity, but, kind of making do with what you've got, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like it's that classic kind of drive that you see in a lot of artists that make it big. Like they just have this need to create no matter the obstacles.
Yeah. And, you would think, okay, that's just how he's starting, right?
Yeah.
He would move past that. But he actually used those tape decks to create, like, bootlegs and mashups.
Oh, really? So he was already kind of like getting into remixing and stuff.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, bootlegs and mashups, they're like essentially remixes.
Right, unauthorized remixes, basically.
Yes, unauthorized remixes
Huh.
or blends of existing tracks.
Okay, yeah. So like taking different songs, putting them together.
Yeah, and sometimes they're hits and sometimes they're misses, but it's like that's where you kind of find your sound.
Absolutely. And I think especially in electronic music, like that experimentation is so crucial.
Totally. So eventually he, was able to invest in a computer, software, keyboards, the whole nine yards, to take it to the next level.
Right, yeah. Get some more professional tools in there.
And in 2004, he released his first official production.
Oh, hey.
And that was the birth of Dirty South, the artist,
Wow, so that's when the name was born. 2004. That's interesting. What was the electronic music scene like around then?
Well, yeah, it was like a really exciting time,
Yeah, like lots of new sounds emerging.
Yeah, technology was like changing so fast
Okay.
that it was like opening up all these new doors for what you could do with electronic music.
Right, yeah. It was kind of like the Wild West in a way, right?
Yeah. So, and he starts putting out this music, he starts, doing these remixes, and the accolades start rolling in pretty quickly.
Okay, like what kind of accolades are we talking?
So first, it was nominations for Australia's ARIA Awards, which are pretty prestigious in Australia, right?
Yeah, those are a big deal.
And then in 2007 and 2008, he won Best Producer at the Infamix Awards 2 years in a row.
That's awesome. So he was definitely making waves down under.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't just that people liked his music.
Yeah.
Like people were recognizing that there was something different about it.
Right. So what would you say, like, set him apart from other producers at the time?
I think, his music, it had these really like soaring melodies, but then like driving bass lines, and it had this like emotional quality that I don't know, not everybody was doing at the time.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, you can definitely get lost in a Dirty South track. It's not just like head nodding music. It's got a lot of heart. And speaking of recognition, didn't he also get like some major support from Pete Tong?
Oh yeah, he was a huge fan. Like Pete Tong, for those that don't know, he's a legendary DJ. He's got this radio show. He's basically like tastemaker royalty.
Right, yeah. He's got the golden years.
And he gave several of Dirty South's tracks the Essential New Tune nod on his show.
Oh, wow. So that's like major validation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, you start getting that kind of recognition. People want to work with you.
Yeah, for sure. I bet he had some pretty amazing collaborations.
Oh, yeah. He's worked with, some of the biggest names in the industry.
Okay, like who are we talking about?
Axwell, David Guetta, Sebastian Ingrosso.
Wow, yeah. That's like the A-list right there.
Yeah. They created some huge hits together, like Open Your Heart, How Soon Is Now.
Oh, yeah, those are classics. What do you think it was about his style that made him such a good collaborator?
I think he could really like blend his style with with whoever he was working with.
Right. So it wasn't just him like imposing his sound on other people's tracks. It was more of a back and forth, a true collaboration.
Exactly, yeah. Like open your heart. He's got that classic Dirty South energy, but then you can hear Axwell's influence in there too, like his signature groove.
Right. It's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And then on top of all that, he did tons of remixes. Like not just electronic music, but across all kinds of genres.
Oh, really? Like who did he remix?
We're talking U2,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, Tracy Thorn, Depeche Mode, David Guetta, Josh Wink.
Wow. Okay. That's quite the range. What do you think that says about him as an artist?
I mean, I think it shows that he's not afraid to like step outside of his comfort zone and really experiment with different sounds.
Yeah, definitely. It's not just sticking to one lane. It's about like exploring the full spectrum of music.
Yeah. And it also shows his ability to like deconstruct and reconstruct music. Like he can
Yeah.
take a track that's already popular and make it completely his own.
Right. Yeah. It's like breathing new life into these songs while still respecting the original.
So, we've talked about his production, but he's also an incredibly successful DJ.
Yeah. Wasn't he like huge in the club scene?
Yeah. I mean, he started out in Australia, dominated the club scene there,
Okay.
and then it just kind of blew up internationally, and he was playing at like all these top clubs and festivals around the world.
Wow. Like what kind of venues are we talking?
Oh, we're talking Ultra Music Festival, Pacha in Ibiza, Pacha in New York, Ministry of Sound, Space, Vanguard, Creamfields, Global Gathering, Sensation White.
Yeah. Okay. That's like a who's who of electronic music venues and events.
Yeah, so clearly he's doing something right.
Absolutely. What do you think makes him such a captivating DJ?
I think his sets are like they're really known for like their energy.
Right. Yeah. It's not just like standing there mixing tracks. It's a performance.
Yeah, it's a performance.
Yeah.
And he takes you on a journey, like through all these different moods and soundscapes.
Yeah, I can see that. It's about creating an experience.
Yeah, exactly. And you think with all that like the touring, the high-profile gigs, he'd be too busy to do anything else.
Right.
But he still manages to like put out yearly mix CDs. He contributes to like compilations for major labels.
Oh, wow. So he's like constantly creating. That's dedication.
Yeah, I mean, he's worked with Ministry of Sound, Tool Room Records, CR2, Sony.
Yeah, he's not slowing down.
No. So, I mean, it's a pretty inspiring story, right? Like from these humble beginnings with tape decks to becoming this like Grammy-nominated global superstar DJ and producer.
It really is. I mean, it's a testament to what like passion and hard work and just like a little bit of DIY spirit can achieve.
Yeah.
What's so cool to me is like how his story kind of mirrors the evolution of electronic music as a whole, Like that constant push for innovation, the blurring of genre lines, and the power of music to like really connect people across the globe.
And that makes you wonder, like, what's next?
Yeah.
Where does he go from here?
Yeah.
What's the next chapter in the Dirty South saga?
Yeah. Who knows? But I'm sure it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely.